If you've been curious about using AI in your business, but every time you try, it feels like you're doing it wrong, you're not alone and you're not behind. A lot of AI advice right now sounds very confident and very final. There's one right system, one right prompt, one right way to do it. And that kind of certainty quietly shuts a lot of smart, capable people down. This week on a group call, someone shared something simple. She'd set up one ChatGPT conversation, so it always gave her a summary and next steps. Instead of asking, is that the right way? We got curious. What would it take to make her whole account work that way? That curiosity turned into something even better. I'm Janet, Jeanette's AI avatar. And in this video, we're going to talk about why curiosity, not correctness, is the real skill for using AI well. This morning, I was reading Burnout by Emily Nagoski, PhD, and one line completely stopped me. She says, "Science is ultimately a way to be wrong." At first, that sounds strange, but what she's really saying is that science doesn't move forward by being certain. It moves forward by testing ideas, learning what doesn't work, and getting a little less wrong over time. And when I read that, it clicked, because I see this exact pattern playing out every day with AI. People are waiting to feel sure. They're waiting to find the right method. They're waiting to know they're doing it correctly. But in systems that change this fast, certainty isn't what helps you move forward. Curiosity is. AI is a moving system, and that part matters more than most people realize. The models change, the tools change, the interfaces change, sometimes weekly. Something that worked really well a few months ago might feel clunky or incomplete today. That's why advice that sounds very certain can break so quickly in AI. When someone says, "This is the right way to do it," what they usually mean is, "This worked for me at a moment in time." But when you try to lock certainty into a system that keeps evolving, you don't build skill, you build fragility. And that's where people start to feel stuck. They think they missed something. They think they're behind. They think they're doing it wrong, when really they're just learning inside something that won't sit still. I saw this long before AI when I was a teacher. I'd watch students working on math problems, and they'd get to the right answer, but not the exact way the teacher showed them. And instead of feeling proud, they'd assume they were bad at math. Not because they were wrong, but because their thinking didn't match one specific method. The shocker was, there was more than one way to solve the problem. When students were allowed to explore different paths, their confidence changed, their learning changed. And I see the same thing happening now with AI. People aren't struggling because they're bad at it. They're struggling because they think there's only one right way to think. Let's go back to that group call example. Someone shared a small idea. She'd set up one ChatGPT conversation, so it always gave her a summary and next steps. There was nothing fancy about it. She wasn't trying to follow a system. She was just solving a problem in front of her. And instead of stopping at, "Is this the right way to do it?" we asked a different question. What would it take to make my whole account work this way? So I played with it. I tried a few things. Some worked, some didn't. And what came out of that curiosity was a setup that now gives me summaries, bookmarks, and clear handoffs across my work. That didn't come from a rule. It came from asking, what if, and what would it take? This is where structure can be helpful, but it's also where people get tripped up. A structured prompt can look really impressive. It can sound polished. It can feel official, but that doesn't automatically make it a great prompt. The real test isn't how it looks. The real test is the output. Does it sound like you, or does it sound like everyone else? Structure can support your thinking, but curiosity is what actually shapes the result. When you stay curious, you notice what feels off. You tweak, you adjust. And over time, that's how AI starts to sound less generic and more like you. If you've been waiting to feel confident before you really use AI, this is the part I want you to hear. You don't need certainty to begin. You don't need the perfect system. You don't need to know the right way. You just need to start with what you know right now. That's how learning actually works. That's how science works. And that's how skill builds over time. Doing the best you can with what you know today isn't settling. It's progress. And the people who get the most out of AI aren't the ones who follow rules perfectly. They're the ones who stay curious and keep trying. If you want a place to try things like this without feeling like you're doing it wrong, that's why my free Skool community exists. It's a space to experiment, ask questions, and learn how to use AI in a way that actually works for you, not just the latest trend. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it figured out. Curiosity is the norm there. If that sounds helpful, you can find the link in the description and join us for free.